What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Spectacular Spoiler League. I'm the Pandan Superman, the mayor of Hype City, Hazyrome, and as always, I'm joined by the Gotham Knight, the Prime Minister of Post-Production, Deepboyce, man. We are here to talk about some Marvel Netflix shows, man.
Bong. Specifically, we've been enjoying a lot of these Marvel Netflix shows. Some are better than other, but
Iron Fist
for the most part, they've been good. And we just decided, people have had this conversation before. What other superheroes deserve the Marvel Netflix treatment? So we came up with a top 5 list.
Top 5, baby. Deepboyce, start us off with number 5.
Number 5, Hawkeye.
Your
boy Hawkeye, a.k.a. Jeremy Renner.
A.k.a. Clint Barton.
Now, I think someone asked him at some point whether or not... I don't know, maybe he brought it up, but he said...
He said it on a number of occasions.
He said on a number of occasions that he'd be fine doing a Netflix show as...
Not just fine, he wants to do it.
He wants to do a show on Netflix as Hawkeye. Obviously, this is number 5 because it's the least likely, because he's tied up with the movies, obviously. But he's a character that I think we both can agree that we like, and I think Jeremy Renner does a great job. And there's an opportunity to take a more grounded approach with the character and whatever plot they could put forward. I mean, Hazy, you had a pretty good idea for a plot for Hawkeye.
Yeah, so, I mean, for me, I think with what they've introduced with Hawkeye, let's be honest, he's probably not going to get as much limelight as he got in Avengers Age of Ultron. Mm-hmm. So, when you take what we've got about the Hawkeye from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you've got a guy who has a family and he's been an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. So what I was thinking was they could do a Taken style movie TV series where his family is basically at risk. And what I was saying to Deepboyce was that the Winter Soldier showed that a lot of information about S.H.I.E.L.D. and S.H.I.E.L.D. agents got leaked while taking down Hydra.
Yeah.
So what I was thinking was that maybe the identity of Clint Barton as Hawkeye or something along those lines got leaked. I mean, his identity is not a secret, but let's say an organization he took down finds out Clint Barton was the one responsible for taking him out, and they decide to get revenge on him and his family.
Yeah. So
I feel like what you could do there is you could take a plot point that's been already established in the Winter Soldier, right? So you're taking from the MCU, which is what Marvel loves to do for their TV stuff, is take from a bigger from the bigger movie picture.
Yeah.
Take that detail, make a show centered around the Winter Soldier after effects or the results of the Winter Soldier, Captain America Winter Soldier, and add to the fact that his family is at risk. He's the only Marvel superhero who has a family.
Yep.
Has a wife and children.
This is true.
So I feel like that would be a good direction for them to go with Hawkeye.
Yeah, absolutely. And you could pretty much pull anyone out of your back pocket in terms of an organization. I think a good point that you made is you don't want the villain to be a suit. You want the villain to actually be someone capable.
Yes, and by a suit, I mean, like, Marvel has this penchant for making their main villains these guys that wear a suit and tie and they're running a corporation. We got Obadiah Stane.
Yeah.
We got your boy Yellow Jacket from Ant-Man.
Yeah.
We got Harold Meacham from Iron Fist. We got Kingpin from Daredevil.
Yeah.
Wherever you look, there's some business dude saying, "Oh, I'm going to cut my share of the world by running this company extremely well or making money off of illegal activities." Yeah. We need to move away from that.
Yeah.
Okay?
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
So, maybe an organization that's focused on science or something like human trafficking, something really, hard-hitting that I feel like Netflix should tackle. But anyway, let's head on over to number 4, man. And number 4, this is going to be, I'm going to throw this one to Deepboyce, man, because this is 100% you right here, man.
Yeah.
Number 4, Moon Knight.
Yeah, Moon Knight, one of my favorite comic book characters. A character that doesn't get much shine. He's a cult classic. He's a cult favorite. You usually hear some good things from up in the rafters from the few people that read Moon Knight. But I think it's a great character, street level character that could fit right in with the Defenders, or you could have him do his own thing. And the main thing that would make him unique, or somewhat unique, for reasons we'll explain soon, is the fact that he suffers from mental health issues. He has multiple personality disorder and schizophrenia. So if you had, I don't know, someone like a Christopher Nolan, let's say. He probably wouldn't do this, but it's just an example of someone who's a cerebral director, or like a Stanley Kubrick, or someone that could delve into those issues of the mind, of identity, of reality. You could do something that's really dope and really cool. And just, I mean, he has a really great foundation. He's an ex-Navy SEAL. That's how he ended up getting the powers of Khonshu. You can get into the mystical end of things with Khonshu and him going into, the dreamscape or the dream world. Or you could deal with him, not knowing who he is, waking up thinking, he's doubting reality. Is he Mark Spector? Is he Stephen Grant?
Yeah.
Is he a cab driver? Is he a movie exec? Is he a former soldier suffering from PTSD? There's a lot there. There's a lot there that they can do. Obviously, the two biggest things against this, or three, one of them is popularity. I mean, I don't know if Marvel would necessarily just kind of, I don't know if they see the potential in Moon Knight. Sure. And to an extent, I can agree. Maybe there's some problems there of how he'll be received. Second, he looks a lot like Batman. There are a lot of similarities between him and Batman.
Sure.
So I can see that as an issue. Although one thing that I think they could do to circumvent that issue is just redesign him. I think I wouldn't mind if they redesigned him, if they made him, change the suit completely and some, he uses the staff more like Robin does, and I guess he could have maybe the daggers and whatnot, but they could change it up. It's fine.
Chances are he probably would get a redesign because let's be honest. I mean,
can't wear all white.
Kind of silly.
Yeah, you can't really fight crime wearing all white and be stealthy.
Sure.
And lastly, another Marvel property, Legion, which dealt with a character who has or is perceived to have mental health issues. You don't exactly know. Set the bar, I think. I haven't really seen it. I've only seen one episode. I can't really comment too much on it, but they would have to. Either they may be overshadowed by that, or they would have to really try to differentiate themselves from Legion. But I think, they got to, like Moon Knight, Legion, even the Sentry, those are characters that I think are pretty cool in their own right, and within the right hands, Moon Knight could be something really dope.
100% agree, man. Number 3, we're moving on to our favorite vampiric Marvel character. Blade,
played by Wesley Snipes. This is
Get out of here! Don't do it, man. Listen, man. People need to listen. I like Wesley Snipes. I like those Blade movies. Not the third one. That was whack. Blade Trinity. Oh my god!
But
don't do it.
But come on, it had Triple H in it as a vampire.
It also had freaking Ryan Reynolds playing Deadpool from X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Yeah.
Essentially. He's essentially the same character. And it also had Jessica Biel for no apparent reason.
I mean, there's a very apparent reason.
I mean, she's hot, but she's a beautiful woman. Yeah. But I mean, it was whack. But Wesley Snipes, man, we need to move away from Wesley Snipes, man. I feel like he had his day in the sun. Let's get another person of color to play Blade and give it a shot, man. I think Blade's time has come. He's been a long gestating project. It's very clear that Marvel has plans for him. There's always some rumors that pop up about Blade. The only reason why he's not number 1 is because personally, I think Blade is a cool character to do. I personally just don't like Blade as much as a lot of other people do. So I had to fight with Deepboyce to bring that down to 3.
Yeah, and I actually do like Blade. But I will agree.
I like him, just not. I'm not in love with the character.
I think there's potential there, but I do agree with you. I think if you're gonna do Blade, there needs to be a setup of the mystical aspect of Marvel, which they kind of did with Doctor Strange. But I think they need to go a little far. I think just in general, not just in the movies and TV shows, but even the comics. I think there's opportunity there for some interesting stories and interesting characters. And I think Blade kind of falls into that. Like, he falls into that, or maybe he's street level as well. I think either they do the setup with him, or they need to do the setup in order to kind of introduce him. And because I do feel there's something about Blade that makes him a little out of place sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, one cool thing is, Blade. I'm pretty sure he's operated in New York in the comics, and if they want to have him, feature with the Defenders, what better way to do it than throw him on Netflix, man?
Yeah, absolutely. And if they're gonna do a Blade show, the storyline has to be it's Wesley Snipes as a vampire, and he's running from the IRS. They're trying to get him for evading his vampiric taxes.
Man, number two. Number two, guys. Hank Pym Ant-Man. Now, a lot of people are probably like, what the hell? Like, where'd you guys get that one from?
Yeah.
So, my take on that is they've already established that there has been an era of heroes, or a time where before Iron Man, came out of the woodworks. Nick Fury, at the end of that movie, he says, you think you're the first hero, something along the lines. I'm paraphrasing, but you think you're the only hero, but there's been a world of heroes before you. So in the Ant-Man movie, they've already established that Hank Pym was operating as Ant-Man decades before the present day MCU. They also say that Ant-Man played a part with Shield and the development of Shield, and I think that there's an opportunity there to tell essentially a story of Marvel's golden age. You know what I'm saying? An era before the era we currently know, an era before the modern age. Like, if you tell a story with Ant-Man operating in the 50s or 60s as Hank Pym, you have the opportunity to throw in, for example, Haley Atwell, aka Agent Carter, who never got a proper ending to her show. And I feel like part of the problem was they didn't spend enough time talking about her developing Shield. That's what I wanted to see when I saw Agent of Carter. Agent of Carter. Agent Carter is her founding Shield. And I think if you told a Golden Age story, you have the opportunity to include a character like her. You also have the opportunity to include Dominic Cooper as Howard Stark. Who also is a main founder of Shield. And I think there's some potential to flesh out this era before the era of heroes that we know. And Ant-Man, Hank Pym is a good way to do that. Also, we know that there was a period of time where he operated with the Wasp, his wife, Janet Van Dyne. So I think that would be a good way to include that character. You don't necessarily have to talk about what happened, with her and Ant-Man, where she essentially gets, lost and she potentially dies. I don't think, even though we both know she's probably not dead. But I think there's a real prime opportunity to tell a Golden Age story, a period piece, if you will.
Absolutely.
And, that's something very unique to the Marvel universe that hasn't been done yet.
Absolutely. 100% agree. I mean, when you pitched this, it was a curveball, but then you totally convinced me because we've barely gotten it. But I think for starters, the story of Peggy Carter starting S.H.I.E.L.D., great story. Totally interested in doing that. You got Hank Pym. You got a lot of these older. You could have like the original Avengers. I don't know if you want to even call them the Avengers, or you could. You can call them the original Avengers. You could have just a team of some of these heroes that haven't even used. Throw them in there. I would even go as far to say I would like a different kind of tone because the Netflix shows dark. They go for a dark tone, but maybe if they try to play up the fact that it's Golden Age, where it's kind of how Captain America, the very first movie, was at the beginning, because it took place in like the 40s or so, where it had it had a certain type of tone to it, where it was kind of old school. Like if they really tried to make it not only a period piece but like a 50s, 60s style type of movie, where it's not as dark, a little bit more lighthearted, a little bit more of your traditional superhero type of show. I wouldn't even mind that. That'd be kind of dope.
Yeah. And I think there are some obscure characters and some plot points that they could use from the Marvel Universe. I mean, when we talked about this, previously, I said a character like U.S. Agent, right? You can, in the Marvel Universe, the Captain America, you can literally name like probably 10, 15, 20 examples of someone trying to replicate the Captain America Super Soldier Serum. And I feel like that could even be a plot point within this show where someone's trying to replicate this serum. And U.S. Agent, they could either have him as a hero or an antagonist to that effect, where the organization of S.H.I.E.L.D. or the precursor to S.H.I.E.L.D. is trying to bring back a version of Captain America. That's one storyline that they could do. They could also go with Hank Pym, who definitely operated in the Korean War. So some of his black ops assignments that he participated in. And I think that's a really cool direction, like a period piece, a secret agent period piece. Yeah. That's got potential, man.
Yeah, no, totally agree. But there's a caveat, at least for me personally. You gotta have those old school costumes.
Yeah. Agreed, man. Agreed. I mean, they've had some crazy costumes in the Marvel universe, but I think they do need to. I do think they need to pay homage to the origins of some of these characters in that way. And Hank Pym as Ant-Man is a perfect way to do it. But Deepboyce, man, hit us with our number one.
Our number one, most anticipated or most sought after Marvel Netflix character that deserves a series. I butchered that, but.
Top 5 Marvel Netflix show we want to see. Number 1,
Ghost Rider.
Which Ghost Rider?
Robbie Reyes.
Oh, people like, oh, what about Johnny Blaze? No, Nicolas Cage ruined that for us. Silver.
Robbie Reyes. The character doesn't get enough love. I think we can all agree. A really cool character, and the character doesn't exactly have iconic storylines, but I think that opens up the door for someone to start off and curate those iconic storylines for this character. There's a ton of opportunity. This is most definitely the fact that they did 2 Nicolas Cage movies shows that they're willing to throw money at this character, because just look at the character. He definitely can.
Even if it was Fox that was willing to do it.
Oh boy. But this character definitely has legs. This character can definitely sell. And it's a very unique character. It doesn't necessarily have to be tied into what they're already doing with Netflix. Or they could, because they've already done it with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I think there's versatility there with that character.
Yeah. I think one of our primary reasons you brought up Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is because Robbie Reyes we're all butchering words today, was introduced in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and they did his character justice. Yep. You know what I mean? Like, he was really well liked. The only reason why he doesn't continue to appear in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is because they've reached a budget restriction with the graphics they use to render Ghost Rider. But I think, a lot of people might be like, why not Johnny Blaze? For starters, it's been done, okay? Yeah. I think they've already established Robbie Reyes in the MCU, and I think it's a good idea for them to go with him. Yeah. Another issue that, we've brought up in previous videos and, some people may not like is diversity. Marvel has had a huge problem with diversity and characters, characters that they have in their movies and TV shows. And I think, having a character who's Hispanic or Latino, I think that would go a long way towards, showing people that, hey, there's more to this Marvel universe than people are saying. And with Robbie Reyes, just because you have Robbie Reyes in the movie or in the show, doesn't mean you can't have Johnny Blaze. Yeah. You could even introduce him for a couple episodes where he serves as a mentor figure, but maybe, I don't know, give him some type of handicap where he can't use the Ghost Rider power, or he can't use use his powers because he's dying or something like that, and it's draining his life force. But my point being is that just because you have Robbie Reyes doesn't mean Johnny Blaze can't exist. And Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has already alluded to the fact that Johnny Blaze already does exist in the MCU and was even there when Robbie Reyes got his powers.
Yep.
So I think I would love to see Gabriel, I think it's Gabriel Luna. I think that's the guy's name who played who played Robbie Reyes. I would love to see him return in that role. I think Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. wet the palate. And I would love to see him and his brother come back, because I also think that's a good story to tell, that relationship with him and his brother, and how his brother is basically his anchor in this period of turmoil for him, where he's trying to find this balance between being himself and being this demonic seeking, the spirit of vengeance. You know what I mean? And Robbie Reyes number 1, man, Ghost Rider.
Absolutely, and they set some plot elements there, like the Darkhold, which was an Agent Carter, and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so they can use that to draw from to create a storyline. And like you said, Johnny Blaze could be in this, maybe as a cameo or as a small role. I'll even take it further, that they could have a Ghost Rider versus Ghost Rider scenario. Take the second Ghost Rider, Danny Ketch, which is not as well known. The first one was Johnny Blaze, the second was Danny Ketch, and the last one, the current one, which is the last one, is Robbie Reyes. So maybe it's not Johnny Blaze versus Robbie Reyes, but Robbie Reyes versus the second one. And the reason I even mention that is because Danny Ketch, for a certain period of time, his flame was blue. He was a blue flame Ghost Rider. So I just think, again, it would look cool as hell, and it has legs this whole thing can run with.
Sure. But anyway, guys, that is our top 5 Netflix series, Marvel Netflix series that we want to see. Let us know what you think in the comments. What hero would you put? What Marvel character would you put in a Marvel Netflix series? Let us know what you think in the comments. Hit us with a like and subscribe if you like anything you heard today. We'll catch you guys next time. We're heading out of the hall of spoilers, and we're probably gonna, get some water and replace our mouths and our tongues because we can't speak today. But anyway, guys, have a good one. We're getting out of here.
Peace.
Peace.